Writing jobs from home. Learn how to easily earn six figures this year as a freelance writer from one of the world's most skilled, experienced, and successful freelance writers today. Welcome to Writing Jobs from Home. I can assure you that your decision to get started as a freelance writer from the comfort of your own home the correct way will definitely be one of the most intelligent decisions that you have ever made. Let me explain. Most ebooks, especially those that turn out to be immediate bestsellers such as this one, typically give you a ton of information that you can effectively use, but they still leave out tons more information that is vital to your success, and most importantly, they tend to use too much fluff and filler information. This is not a good thing, as you know. There's no need to waste any more time. Let me leave you with one lasting thought just before you get started on your road to earning a full-time income as a freelance writer on the internet. Please take everything I'm teaching you in this ebook and immediately put it to use to the very best of your ability. Don't pick and choose certain tips that seem like they would work to you and skip others because they seem unimportant to you. Everything that I will be teaching in this ebook will be from my own personal experience. Instead, we took my years and years of knowledge, success, and even failures to create the world's #1 guide to know exactly what to do in the freelance writing business, how to do it, when to do it, and most importantly, what not to do. You're about to discover how I'm able to consistently rake in an unbelievable 6 figures per year working part-time from my computer without ever leaving my bedroom if I don't want to. Unlike most others that have literally perfected a specific craft, I won't hold back. You're going to follow the exact same game plan of action as I've been following and perfecting for the past several years. Do you know why? After learning the nature of this business, you'll fully understand that there's plenty of room for others to do exactly what I've been doing. So if you like writing, or perhaps you just need a means of earning full-time or extra income, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, because this will be one of the greatest learning adventures in which you will ever embark on. Let's get started. What is a freelance writer? Well, the first thing I'd like to discuss is the true definition of a freelance writer. The mere fact that you're reading this ebook strongly suggests that you should probably have a pretty good insight or ideal on what a freelance writer is. But to be on the safe side, allow me to explain briefly just in case. A freelance writer is a writer who works for a company or individual either through a long-term contract or even per project basis. Although these are contracts, they don't necessarily need to have a formal contract in place, although that's probably in your best interest as a writer. But what they do have in common is that they're a project or piece of writing with a set time frame and a clear goal. Once the project is complete, the freelance writer moves on to the next project. But some writers are able to successfully juggle up to a dozen projects at a time. There are many kinds of freelance writing categories, such as business writing, copywriting, content writing, educational writing, and sales writing. On the other hand, some freelancers focus solely on querying and writing for magazines, anthologies, or newspapers, while still others serve nonprofits through grant writing and proposal development. The great thing about being a freelance writer is that if you harness the rare ability to get high-paying jobs in your specific writing specialty on a regular basis, you'll be able to decide your own hours and, most importantly, your very own income. You can work just 30 minutes per week, or you could work 12 to 15 hours daily. The choice is yours. You see, rather than being stricken with a very tight schedule that typical jobs are offering with absolutely no flexibility, you can now take things as slow or as fast as you need on a day-to-day or even hourly basis. If you need more money, just pick up more jobs, and today you are going to learn how. As I just stated, Writing Jobs from Home is going to teach you everything that you are going to need to know to break the endless cycle of failure that most freelancers have had to deal with for months or possibly even years. There are actually 6 main problems that you must be aware of when it comes to this business, and if you solve 5 and fail to solve all 6 successfully, this could be a grave mistake to your income. Pay very close attention, because each of these could be your downfall. There's a huge misconception plaguing the freelance writing industry in which most writers, especially those that aren't earning 6 to 7 figures, believe, in which there just isn't enough jobs out there with all the writers actively searching. This couldn't be further from the truth. The problem is that you can't seem to locate the jobs, and more importantly, once you do locate a good job that you feel that you'd be a good fit for, you can't secure the job or win the job as a result of not knowing how to properly apply and go through the systematic steps to get hired nearly every time. The only reason that you aren't getting paid as much per job as you might like is because your employer doesn't feel that they should be paying you any more money than what they're already paying. Either they believe that you're worthy of a higher rate as a result of your skills and quality, or they feel that you're worthy, but you need the money and the jobs, so you will just deal with being disrespected and unpaid forever. Just because you're missing deadlines or projected upfront deadlines seem too difficult or unrealistic doesn't necessarily mean that you're unorganized or that you're lazy. Usually, you're only having issues with meeting deadlines because you lack the proper methodology to use leverage and outsourcing to take care of the tedious nonsense type of work that is taking up all of your time. There's plenty of ways around this problem. If you aren't a self-motivated person, do you think that you can succeed in this business as an independent freelance writer? I'm sure that 90% of you would probably say no, but you're absolutely wrong. Sure, if you aren't properly trained to turn into the writer that you need to be, you will remain stuck and will never be motivated to do anything that isn't filled with complete ease and tons of fun. This isn't what life is all about, unfortunately, and I'll show you how to get motivated like never before, and most importantly, stay motivated forever. This could be the most detrimental factor to your freelance writing career, being a huge success or being a huge failure. Which would you like? A success, of course. This is why you're going to have to learn new tactics on how to remain disciplined at all times so that you can treat this as a real job and not just some little income opportunity online. When it comes to being a freelance writer for a full or part-time income, it definitely helps out drastically to be a good or especially a great writer. It is not imperative, nor is it necessary in order for you to be successful. Whether you're a great writer or you can barely put together a decent sentence, you can still succeed and earn more money from home in a few months than most people earn all year on a job working all year. What we're going to do is dissect each of these 6 major factors that will literally kill your chances of success before ever getting started the correct way, as I've been doing for years. Remember that each of these should be factors to remember and are not to be taken lightly, because without conquering all 6 of these problems, you will never be on the level that you should be. Mark Hall here, and I don't want to waste time, but I need for you to know my background before we go any further. This will allow you to go into your new freelance writing career with a clear head, as you know that not only is this thing possible, even if it seems slightly daunting, the route that you're going to be taking is the exact same route that propelled me to being one of the most successful freelance writers in the entire world in less than 12 months. My story might have started out much like many other people's stories in the sense that, of course, I struggled in the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing and had no one to show me the ropes. The good news for you is that freelance writing can be taught. There is actually a formula for success, meaning if someone knows exactly what they're doing, someone like me, they can show you step by step exactly what you need to do in order to duplicate their success time and time again. Let's take Michael Jordan, for example. Michael Jordan is believed by most to be the greatest basketball player of all time. Therefore, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's pretty much an expert in this area, correct? But here's the problem. If Michael Jordan was your personal coach and gave you each of his personalized workout programs and even held you by the hand to make sure that you performed everything correctly, do you think you'd ever be as good as him? Think about that question and be honest. Of course not. Chances are you don't possess the natural skills, talent, jumping ability, athleticism, and abnormal height. You'll probably be much better off with him as a coach rather than someone else, but you will still fall short. Guess what? This isn't sports. It doesn't matter how tall you are or how much you practice. The bottom line is that if the correct keys are punched in the correct sequence at the right time, you'll have yourself a real freelance writing career the same as I do. For those who aren't familiar with Mark Hall, aka MB Hall, the freelance writer, allow me to give you some background as to what's possible and why you should listen to what I have to say and follow my guidelines regularly. Although I can write nearly any type of assignment from nearly any tone or perspective, I specialize in creating very compelling ebooks, incredibly intriguing articles, blogs, profitable sales ads, and some of the most effective educational ebooks known to man. These are just my specialties because I do other writings as well. Although there's no need for you to specialize in an exact same type of writing that I specialized in, you will still need your own specialties, and I will show you how later in this manual. I'm not your typical earner, but it wasn't always this easy. Like any other 18-year-old kid, I went to college just like my mother told me. I was a good student and thought that studying hard and going to college would get me to where I wanted to be. For years, I tried and tried to figure out how to make some real money online, and yet I was stuck in the same rut. Eventually, the light bulb went off in my head, and I figured it out. Although I kept creating new internet marketing products, I failed to get a good amount of sales with them, and this led me to understand one thing. I finally realized that although I'm not much of a marketer, I can probably earn some real money as a copywriter creating products and pages for other people. After finding out about Elance.com, I was ecstatic. The road to learning Elance.com's systems and perfecting it would not be an easy one, but yet I toughed it out and made it work. Eventually, I became an expert in this field, and now I teach others how to earn a full-time living as a freelance writer, the same as I've been able to do. Take a look at some of my earnings below. 2 recent payments of $5,000 and $10,000 for a simple and smooth new writing job. My payments from Elance.com as a freelance writer. More payments from Elance.com as a freelance writer. Need more proof? Here it is. For the skeptics, how about just one more? But wait, there's still more. How about more than $27,000 in writing deals in 1 month? As you can see, I average more than $1,200 per client that I receive, so I think that it might be safe to say that I'm one of the highest earning freelancers in the industry. My accomplishments could be a book in themselves, but I'll give you just a few accomplishments so that we can keep moving forward without wasting time. My specialty is copywriting, ebooks, and articles. Look what I've done. My goal is to have you setting the same types of records that I'm setting in record time. When it comes to freelancing, numbers will never lie. You see, I have the rankings to prove it. Sure, I typically get paid through Bankwire and don't have much to show in terms of income other than my honest online payments through screenshots, but verifying my credibility will be no problem using Elance.com. One of my Elance.com accounts. I have multiple accounts in 3 different categories on Elance.com. Please keep in mind that this is just one of my Elance.com accounts. I have several. The image doesn't show it, but I'm ranked at a level 8 at the moment, almost to a level 9. And out of more than 125,000 freelance individual writers and companies on Elance.com, there are less than 200 members that are in the top 200. Remember, I don't show you all of my accomplishments to simply impress you. I show you these things to impress upon you that I know what I'm doing and that I can show you the correct way to do things. Job award ratio is the percentage of jobs that you actually get hired after applying for them. This could be online or in person. Since this guide is solely based on freelance writing on the internet, my specialty, let me tell you what to aim for. You see, applying for writing jobs on the internet as a freelancer is not the same as applying for a typical job at your local gas station or grocery store. Those applications could take 30 to 60 minutes to properly fill out, and sometimes longer. In the end, many times you have to actually physically go into the establishment to fill out, and there's absolutely no guarantee that you'll get the job. There isn't even anything to ensure that someone will actually look at your application, and to be honest, it is definitely the wrong way to go. The system that you're about to learn allows you to locate thousands of available jobs instantly at your fingertips for free without leaving your home, and allow you to effectively apply for up to a dozen or more jobs every half hour. Well, without any further wasting of your time, let's jump right into this thing so that you can be earning within the next 24 to 48 hours from this very second. My freelance writing process is very simple to understand. There are only 6 simple steps that are all broken down into perfect, easy to understand detail. The first step is to sign up for the jobs portals that I assign you. I only give you the most popular high-paying job sites so that you don't need to look elsewhere. The internet will be your best friend for finding jobs. The second step is to locate the jobs that are going to be suitable for you specifically within these writing job websites. There will be many jobs, but you must determine what jobs you'll be willing to do and also what jobs will best fit your skill set. Step 3 is where most people fail miserably. They just don't know how to properly apply for jobs. I can understand this because I had no idea as to what I was really doing for quite some time before I figured out a secret system that allows you to put exactly what the potential employer needs to hear in order to hire you, even if you aren't really the best possible applicant for the job. After applying for the jobs, step number 4 would be to actually secure the job. What good is applying for 500 jobs per day if you don't actually get awarded any of them? By using the proper application process and then follow-up process, it's inevitable that you will get awarded more jobs than you can handle. Of course, after getting the job, you're going to need to actually do or complete the job to the 100% satisfaction of the employer. Here's everyone's favorite step. Getting paid is the whole reason that you're in the freelance writing world in the first place for most people. However, if you aren't careful, you could run into employers who pay late or partial payments and sometimes refuse to pay at all, even when you have produced exactly what they wanted in the exact time frame. With each passing year, the demand for freelance writers shoots ever upwards. At the dawn of the millennium, there were an estimated 41,000 writers currently in employment. In 2006, that number has risen over 300% to 135,236. Most analysts have come to the conclusion is the cause for this meteoric rise in such a short time frame. We have been seeing an increase in both business websites and blogs throughout these years, all of which require a copywriter for content. As of 2006, according to CNET, one new blog surfaced every half second. That's 172,800 new blogs being formed each day. As of 2010, there were approximately 255 million websites in existence, with 21.4 million sites added to that year alone. 2010 also saw the creation of 152 million blogs. Here's what this means to freelance writers. In a nutshell, it proves just how much work is potentially out there. Less than 1/6 of the website owners write their own content, instead of relying on either in-house content writers or freelance writers to handle the job. This information comes from the 2011 Freelance Industry Report. Please note that these figures cover all freelance professions, not just writing. 17% of freelancers earn $100 or more per hour. 26% of freelancers earn $80 to $99 an hour. And 45% earn somewhere between $20 and $59 an hour. The majority of writers specifically say they earn between $50 to $59 an hour. To give you an idea of how the first set of numbers corresponds to freelance writers, it's estimated that 18% of all freelance professionals are writers, the highest single group out of all categories. In the battle of the sexes, the number comes out pretty much even. Most freelance writers state that they put in less than 40 hours of work per week. Whether or not you're working more than people at a regular job is undecided though. After all, how many people are actually working constantly every hour they're at work? Still, roughly 66% of freelance writers do it as their full-time job, and more than half of those bring in a primary income for their household. 39% of freelancers earn more money freelancing than they did at a full-time job. Here's the icing on the cake. All those numbers and stats don't mean a thing if you don't enjoy what you're doing. I gladly work a minimum wage job that I love rather than toil away in a high-paying, soul-crushing occupation, and as the numbers show, that might be exactly why I became a freelancer in the first place. The same 2011 Freelance Industry Report stated that of the individuals polled, most were much happier than they were before they started freelancing, and very few said they would go back to a regular job for a higher pay. After hearing those pleasantly shocking statistics, let's focus on you and your earnings specifically, since it would matter if millions of freelance writers were earning millions. Here's a sample diagram below that will show you the average job and details so that you can get a realistic gauge on what to aim for, because you need realistic goals. You don't want to go into this thing blindly. The same as you would get hired at a typical job and know exactly how much you're getting paid and exactly what day and by what means, this should be the same. The income project chart is a chart which is hypothetical and gives you a synopsis of your earning potential. If you need more time to study this, simply pause the ebook and we'll continue on the next page. Look at the chart and highlight the top 3 types of writing categories located at the left of the chart that you personally like to try out first. If you're not a beginner, this should be even easier because you already know your specialty. However, if you're a newbie, this is perfectly okay as well. Just choose the first 3 of any 3 for that matter, because it can be changed at any time, and there's a good possibility that at least 1 or 2 of your specialties might not be located on this chart. This is just for sample purposes only. After calculating how much money is typical with my system, now let's take things a step further by actually customizing the same chart. The way to do this is to decide the amount of hours, jobs, and or income that you'd like to earn per day, week, month, and or year. You be the judge, but just make sure that it's realistic based on the chart that I filled out for you initially. Let's start out with just 3 categories again so that we can narrow down this niche market pretty good. Once you have your goals on paper or on a document after using the chart to help you decide which direction you'll take, place it somewhere where you'll see it regularly throughout the day in your home, such as a refrigerator, on your bedroom wall, or on your desk so that you don't lose sight of the big picture. There are some important things that I'd like to cover in this section for freelance writers. Since there's no money without having freelance writing jobs available, we're going to tap into an ever-growing market of jobs that are posted hourly by the dozens so that you will always have as many writing jobs to apply for as you like regardless of your income goals. Here's a breakdown and some information on the top writing job resources that I recommend. They're all either free or dirt cheap, and I've ranked them in order of best to worst. However, even the worst on the list is still pretty good and can rather be profitable. I know this because, again, I personally used each of these for my own personal gain financially. Let's take a look. Elance.com is the world's most used and most recommended website for online freelance work. All writers are welcomed from newbie to million-dollar earners. Freelancer.com is a great freelance website offering a wide variety of jobs in a wide variety of different fields. Freelance Writing Jobs is a company that specializes only in providing actual freelance writing jobs. Rather than offering a wide array of different specialties, they've narrowed the niche for a better quality service. Writer Access is another company that specializes in accommodating a freelance writer's job needs. They have helped thousands to successfully find freelance writing jobs. Mad Content doesn't always advertise their freelance writing opportunities, but shoot them an email because they're always hiring. The pay is somewhat low, but the work is plenty, so it's definitely worth your while. Here's a look at 5 more recommended sites. Writing Assistant Inc. is pretty self-explanatory. They can work wonders in assisting writers at getting freelance work on a continual basis. FreelanceWriting.com specializes in all types of freelance writing job placement. If you're serious about finding good freelance work as a writer, you can't ignore this one. Odesk would be at the top of many seasoned freelance writers' list in terms of quality and the amount of writing jobs that can be secured. Nice quality company. WritingCareer.com can be a little confusing, but don't allow the animated design to fool you. They regularly put dozens and dozens of new writers into a position to earn. Guru.com has been around for years. It used to be my favorite until I determined that others were easier for me to use, specifically due to my personal preferences. My favorite is Elance.com, and as you can see, that it's not only rated number 1 worldwide by me, a world-renowned freelance writer, but also by the average copywriter. Please see Writing Jobs from Home, Volume 2 next, by Mark Hall. Copyright 2002, Writing Jobs from Home, all rights reserved. All rights reserved. No part of this ebook may be reproduced or transmitted in any form whatsoever, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, recording, or by any informational storage or retrieval system without express written, dated, and signed permission from the author. Disclaimer and/or legal notices. The information represented herein represents the view of the author as of the date of publication. Because of the rate with which conditions change, The author reserves the right to alter and update his opinion based on the new conditions. The ebook is for informational purposes only. While every attempt has been made to verify the information provided in this ebook, neither the author nor his affiliates and/or partners assume any responsibility for errors, inaccuracies, or omissions. Any slights of people or organizations are unintentional. If advice concerning legal or related matters is needed, the services of a fully qualified professional should be sought. This report is not intended for use as a source of legal or accounting advice. You should be aware of any laws that govern business transactions or other business practices in your country and state. Any reference to any person or business, whether living or dead, is purely coincidental.